Welcome back. This is Bernardi. Now it's time for that part of the show we call the Fast Five. It's where we put the nation's leading minds to the speed test. We're going to spend 1 minute on each of these topics, meaning my guest has got to get their common sense out quickly. I know Teena McQueen, the Federal Liberal Vice-President, is up to it. I'm delighted she's joining us now. Welcome, Teena. It's wonderful to have you. News polls just dropped before we get into this, 53-47. Are you optimistic about tomorrow, or does this sort of take your breath away?
I don't take any notice of the polls. I really don't. I've been at pre-poll from 8 in the morning till 8 at night for the last 2 weeks. So I'm getting contrary feedback in the seat I'm working in Dobell to that. It's going to be very hard to predict, Cory, very hard to predict.
Yeah. All right, let's get straight into it now, Teena. Albanese fronted a breakfast this week. He seemed to play the race card. Have a look at what he said.
We still have a bit to go. Those people of my age and older in this room will know that at school people make fun of your name. My opponents think it's still okay to make fun of someone's name in their advertising. And that is a matter for them to consider.
Okay, and here's the Prime Minister's response.
In politics, if you can't stump up, he's quite happy to dish out criticism and abuse of me, as he has done over the last 3 years. I'm big enough to take that. Mr Albanese is that precious. If he's that precious and he can't hack a campaign, then how on earth is he going to handle running this country?
Right, Teena, I remember when Albanese was making fun of Zed Sejelja's name during this campaign. Now he's playing the victim. Is he just being a bit of a baby?
Oh, boo-hoo. It's not easy under Albanese. You know, he took the time out a couple of times to give me a shout-out. I mean, this is one giant act. What a ridiculous thing to come out with. Don't be so precious. You want to be Prime Minister. Get over it, Albo. Just a ridiculous comment, a ridiculous comment to make. I laugh every time I see him come out with that, Cory.
Yeah, you just got to wonder what's going through. 26 years this bloke's been here, and he's trying to pretend he's something he's not. He can't be across the detail of anything. Now he's complaining about, quasi-racism because people are calling him making Albanese, life won't be easy anyway.
Bit of a stretch.
Miranda Devine from the Daily Telegraph, Teena, has reported that Morrison says the momentum is on his side, but the Prime Minister smartly played it down in his press conference today. Have a look at this.
Elections in Australia are always close. It's very rare that you get big changes. That happens occasionally, but in my experience, elections are always very close, and Australians weigh up their decision very, very carefully. Now, how they voted, we'll see tomorrow night and potentially in the days that follow as more and more votes are counted.
Okay, Teena, you've dismissed the news poll, 53-47 for those who have tuned in, but you are Vice President of the Liberal Party. Do you have momentum? And if you do, I would attribute it to the policy about the first home buyers and accessing their superannuation. Why did you leave the best till last?
That was a great policy, and there is momentum, but hey, the big day's tomorrow. But I still consider it's going to be a seat-by-seat battle. I mean, true warriors are going to need their shields of protection in every seat tomorrow. It's on, Cory, it's on. And that's what it'll come down to. It's just, we probably needed a little bit more time, but there is momentum there. But like I said, it's a seat-by-seat battle. I don't believe these large undecided numbers. I think people know exactly what they're doing. And again, that's quite evident from pre-poll, from the numbers that walk in and don't want anything. They've said, I've got this, so they've put thought into it. They know what they're doing. And I think the numbers of unknown voters are overrated and big. So I think it's going to be a really interesting time tomorrow, a really interesting election. With lots of surprises,
we'll be glued
Cory.
to the coverage on Sky. It's going to be amazing, Teena. There are, and I'll tell you where I think a lot of people are going to be hoping there's momentum. A lot of Liberals and a lot of Labor people are going to be cheering on independent candidate for Fowler, Di Lay. and it might just be enough to topple Christina Keneally. Labor are so spooked they flew Albanese into one of their safest seats, and here's what she told reporters about the visit.
Is that a sign that you are in trouble?
No, in fact, I have to say this is an event that's been planned, a national event planned by the Italian-Australian community to welcome what they hope will be the first Italian-Australian Prime Minister.
Oh, God.
Teena, you can see a unity ticket across cross-factional, cross-party unity ticket. Let's get rid of KK cheering on this new independent in Fowler. What do you make of it?
Well, look, Di Lee is a tough cookie. Let me tell you, she's an experienced campaigner. She's managed to unite Liberal and Labor to get behind her. You know, a lot of ex-Liberals are there and getting behind her with Frank, the Labor guy. So that is one to watch. That is one to watch. If anyone can do over Christina Keneally, Di can. And I think it's outrageous. It's outrageous that they put Christina Keneally in a seat like that, totally disregarding the hard-working migrants that fought so hard to move to that particular area, to just throw someone in and accept. And she says, well, are you going to have a minister in your seat? Absolutely disgraceful. I hope Di does really well and wins that seat.
Yeah, one of the most cutting comments I heard was from some pundit who said, Keneally's been on holidays in our seat for the last 30 days and she'll go back to Scotland Island immediately afterwards. OK, it's not all smooth sailing for the coalition at the moment. We know that the Australian reported today that Foreign Minister Marise Payne pushed the National Security Committee to double its Pacific aid funding. Again, here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
My National Security Committee has been extremely tight, and I have no doubt that the members of my National Security Committee are very, very tight. Now, I'm not going to confirm one way or another the matters in that report. I don't discuss things, and my ministers don't discuss things that are addressed and worked through at the National Security Committee.
Teena, I'm in two minds here. I understand what Marise Payne wants to do and the reason you need to keep China out of the South Pacific, but really throwing more money at some of these countries that really treat us with very little respect and sell out for almost anything. What do you think? What's the right call here?
Corey, it's a taxpayers' money, and I think whatever we tried to throw at them, China was determined to double it, triple it, do what they must, you know. So you've got to be very conscious with the taxpayers' dollars, and if you're just throwing against a brick wall with no result, no support, no cooperation, there's really no point. So let's see how that turns out the next election in the Solomon Islands. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating thing. Now, Teena, I've got some bad news for you and for you people at home who think, Cory, you can't count. We've been through 4 topics tonight and I've got people whispering in my ear, we're out of time. And that's entirely my fault, Teena McQueen. I would love to spend another 5 minutes with you. Maybe we can ask you some questions off air and I can put them on my blog or something. But thanks for your time tonight, Teena, for the Fast Four.
Corey. Bye, darling.
We will. Good luck tomorrow.